Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Channel 5 News at 4. I'm Stephanie Bertini.
And I'm Polo Sandoval. We start a mission this afternoon where police are investigating a shooting.
Channel 5's Erica Proffer says her story now is a cry to the Mexican government. Erica's live with the details. I understand that there was some questions that you just couldn't get the postal inspectors to answer. Here's a few tips. Never leave valuables like purses and wallets in your vehicle. Make sure not to leave anything that could attract a crook in plain sight. Put your shopping bags and gifts in the trunk. Always lock your doors. This one called the Fast Diet because it's supposed to help you lose weight in record time. Here's the thing, doctors, they have their doubts. DNA evidence, we're talking about hair, skin, and clothing samples. A lot of times for these victims, it's invasive to have to hand over that type of evidence after going through something like a rape, as traumatic as a rape.
Right, and that's one of the reasons that
Kirk, obvious lesson to be learned here, I think, for anybody watching this afternoon. Don't keep all your ID in one purse or one wallet.
Yeah, she had all her stuff in there, you know, and
you got to think, put yourself in the shoes of the people that live there. It's really something that you'd never imagine you would witness or hear about right there in your backyard. Definitely a traumatic situation for not only the victims there, but people around the area. From the edge of the river here at the corner of Hidalgo County to the Mission City line. Latex gloves like these. This is what the card looks like. The police chief says it's one way the department is working to let students know. Now, I want to point out this area over my shoulder here. We're zooming in to what Border Patrol calls the Sally Port. I just got off the phone with Border Patrol spokesperson Henry Mendiola. He confirms Border Patrol agents took 21 undocumented immigrants into custody. 8 tons of marijuana. To give you an idea, our news unit is about 8,600 pounds. So we're talking about a collection of drugs as heavy as almost 2 of these vehicles. Letty, Oscar, the ballots were counted inside City Hall earlier tonight. Now, the final numbers came in around 8:30. Mayor Richard Garcia wins with 1,426 votes. We're tracking this race very closely tonight. Longtime District Attorney Rene Guerra, his challenger tonight, Ricardo Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, you're here tonight with your family. You're here tonight with your family, with your supporters. Tell us, first of all, what you're feeling right now.
We're very excited. We're humbled by the outcome.
We can give you a visual there of what we're seeing. That video, Dina, is what I saw as we first drove into town, the first minutes into town.
Dina, I'm live standing in front of what used to be a gas station. Just take a look at this. Literally reduced to nothing but debris. I mean, this is just, I'm taking this in because we just got here. We just set up the live truck. I'm taking a look at the damage. Absolutely severe. Let's pan so we can show you. Cars tossed like toys. We are in hurricane season, and generally there is no significant disturbance right now. Here's a look at the tropics. If you have your loved ones out there, let them know that they can track information, weather information, using their phones, using their iPads, their tablets. We have the up-to-date information, all this weather information online. Also images that help you kind of see the scope of the situation out there. 95 is your high, 77 degrees is your low. You have that chance of showers into Monday. A big story making sports headlines today in the Valley. Killer Bees calling it quits. Our Joel Villanueva has been tracking this story. He's been all over it. And Joel, finally the official announcement made today.
Yeah, that's right, Steph. A big story for the Valley.
We have some new information on a health concern affecting the PSJ school district. District officials just posted this letter. Well, some unexpected visitors showed up at a neighborhood in Edinburgh today.
This story, absolutely noble. Check this out. We have...
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but it's a little bit peculiar and it's very
out of the ordinary. And as a reporter,
heading back into the newsroom now after the break, a big announcement for us here at Channel 5, one that means more news for you. Stay with us.
San Juan police just wrapping up a raid at a home near I Road in Olana. Channel 5's Stephanie Bertini is working this story. She joins us from inside that stash house. Stephanie, what are you seeing?
Cameron, yeah, I'm standing inside the stash house. Investigators just let us in, and it really gives you a sense, an idea of the condition these illegals were in. This table right behind me has some dirty dishes and some scraps of food. There's some what looks like instant noodles inside this bowl here, and some remnants of scrambled eggs on this serving spoon here. So basically, scraps of food here, really dirty conditions. This bed just across from where I'm standing, one of 3 beds inside this home. home, and you can see all it is basically an old mattress and a blanket. If you take a look at the floor, you can really get a sense of how worn the structure is. Border Patrol spokesperson Danny Tirado tells me 40 people were being held inside this home. At this hour, they're being processed for deportation. San Juan police working with Border Patrol on this investigation. Sergeant Rolly Garcia says at this hour, they're still looking for the smuggler. Reporting live in San Juan, Stephanie Bertini, Channel 5 News at noon. Welcome back. It really is a wonderful day to be outside and to head to the beach if you're looking for something to do. I want to give you a look at your highs for today. 87 is what you're hitting in Weslaco, 91 Rio Grande City. By the coast, a little bit cooler, but really a gorgeous, gorgeous day. You're looking at lots of sunshine for today. Here's where you're sitting at right now, 67 degrees in Edinburgh, same temp in McAllen at this hour. You can see temperatures right now pretty consistent throughout our viewing area. It will get much warmer and quick. By noon, we'll be jumping up already in the 80s, and you're going to see those temperatures throughout the afternoon and into tonight.
Tonight, Hidalgo County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a drive-by shooting in the Hidalgo County community of Lopezville.
One man was killed, another wounded. Our Channel 5 Stephanie Bertini live with details. Stephanie.
At this point, investigators have no idea what led to the shooting. They're talking to witnesses, working to find out why shots were fired on Church Street last night. This home is the center of a criminal investigation. The woman who lives here, too afraid to talk to us on camera. And they were standing over here? Hidalgo County Sheriff's deputies are working to find out what led to a drive-by shooting at this house. It happened around 11 last night. Deputies say the suspects drove down this street and stopped their car right about here. They shot at two men standing on the front porch of that house. The gunshots so loud the noise woke up people sleeping in their homes. Oralia Galvan says the shooting did more than just wake her up. She's afraid for her family now.
Tengo mucho miedo porque está pasando muy seguido esto aquí en la colonia.
This is the fourth shooting in Lopezville in just 2 months. The tiny community was once plagued by gang violence. People who live here don't want to see the crime go back to what it was. This woman told us her husband's friends were the victims in last night's drive-by. One man was killed, the other wounded. We caught up with her husband on his way back from the hospital visiting the friend who survived. He says he has no idea why his friends were shot. They were visiting him when they were hit. He asked us not to reveal his identity. The father of 6 says he wants more law enforcement in his community. He's afraid those armed men will come back. Commander John Montemayor with the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office says investigators are working to find out if the shooting was gang-related, if it was a case of mistaken identity. At this point, anything's possible. As for the suspects, it was too dark for witnesses to come up with a good description. They say the gunmen were in a light-colored 4-door vehicle with a sunroof. Reporting live in the newsroom tonight, Stephanie Bertini, Channel 5 News at 6. The character of Roma, Texas is created by the old infrastructure. Pieces of the past still stand in this border city, a community established in the 1700s. It's a town this man, Alfredo Anaya, knows all too well. Anaya grew up in Roma. He spent his childhood inside this small, modest home. It's the place he comes to visit his elderly parents now. They never left their property, unlike many of their neighbors.
Some of it has to do with the drugs, you know. I mean, who wants to be in a place where you're threatened, you know, constantly threatened by, you know, the drug cartels.
Mexico's drug war changed the face of that country. Gun battles between different cartels and the military trying to control the chaos are ongoing. The situation has prompted countless travel warnings from the American government, like this one telling people to stay away from Tamaulipas. Grenade attacks and gun battles are a threat in the Mexican state that sees the most kidnappings. It's the area that borders this part of Texas.
Became an anchor of trade.
Roma city manager Cristano Salinas says the Mexican drug war put the final stamp on a community that was already dying. He says tiny Roma is no competition for bigger cities in the Rio Grande Valley. That's where people are choosing to live. It's very different from the history books.
In the 1860s to 1890s, that's when Roma was in the boom stages. Roma was the center of all trade in the valley. If you were going to Mexico, you come to Roma either through steamboat or wagon, and then you go to Cerralbo, then to Monterrey.
Merchandise for trade was moved along the Rio Grande. The river that once fueled a robust and productive city is now the line that divides Roma from the cartel-torn city of Miguel Alemán. You'll find many abandoned structures here in Roma. Some of the homes face Mexico. The danger on the other side has forced many Mexican nationals to move. City officials say those people are running from the Mexican drug war, the same war that's given this historic place a bad reputation. Among the structural skeletons of buildings once owned by wealthy families, now kept through inheritance but not worth the money to fix or the interest to sell, there are those who think it's a shame.
It's been underestimated, the beauty and the culture that existed here, many years ago.
It's an example of how the narco war has affected America, right here in this border town along the Rio Grande. In Roma, Stephanie Bertini, Channel 5 News at 6.
Tonight, a rare look into the lives of delinquent teenage girls. We wanted to know what set them on their path to juvenile detention.
Channel 5 Stephanie Bertini spent time with the girls off and on for months. She went inside the Judge Mario E. Ramirez Jr. Juvenile Justice Center. Tonight, she shares a special report, A Dance with Darkness.
We found out their dances in darkness come after years of pain. Tonight, children with lost childhoods tell you what happened to them. These girls are all under 17. We're protecting their identities. Pieces of happiness alongside the most frustrating moments. The small room for human emotions adds color to these pale walls. Each day is similar to the one before and to the ones still to come.
When you're out and free, it seems so easy to just do what you want.
It brings a routine these teenage girls are not accustomed to.
But I always say I'm not going to come back, but I'm here.
It's a place meant to set them on the right path. The only place some of them feel safe.
You just don't involve yourself when you get into a gang. You involve your family.
They've experienced a side of life in the shadows, a place no one should go. If you could see their faces, you would likely identify the kind of innocence you might recognize in a young girl you know. These girls have committed crimes, done things they're not proud of. Still, up close, they're nothing more than children. Some of them so lost, this place is more comfortable than home. Girls brought together by breaking the rules follow a strict schedule inside this detention center.
Okay.
Juvenile supervision officers watch them closely. 6 a.m. is wake up. They do their chores. One by one, they clean up. Day in, day out. Everything they do is at a set time.
1, 2, 3.
Morning exercise comes before breakfast. They start school at 8 a.m. sharp. The learning environment resembles any regular classroom. Their blue uniforms remind them where they are. Here, they're forced to pay attention.
I got tired of getting up, going to school, and getting fights.
Thoughts of going back to a regular classroom can bring hesitation.
They're going to be talking that I was locked up.
These teenagers are convinced things are more complicated for females who break the law and end up here. Like other girls their age, their number one concern is appearance.
Oh my gosh, yes. Come do it in here.
There are rules prohibiting makeup, waxing, plucking. There's tight restrictions on shaving. When you're a teenage girl, that's all a problem.
You can only shave your legs down and your armpits.
And then your mustache.
After being here for a couple weeks, it's like you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself.
Yeah.
Detention Center Administrator Eduardo Martinez has 20 years' experience in the juvenile justice field. He says he's noticed a change with the female population.
And back then, what we saw with girls was more a lot of just runaways, truancy, maybe some drug abuse. Now we see girls involved in more hardened crimes, the robberies, the aggravated assaults.
Martinez says one thing that hasn't changed, the boys far outnumber the girls. The detention staff we spoke with say for the most part the girls are very aware of the choices they've made. They say unlike the boys, the girls rarely make excuses. We found out in order to truly understand the young ladies here, you need to know more about their lives. This teenager opened up about her struggles and addictions. She fought a difficult battle when she first got locked up.
I was medically confined for like 3 days.
Because of the withdrawals?
Yeah, I was throwing up, I had high fevers. At that time I was using crack.
She says an ex-boyfriend got her into drugs. She started stealing to feed her habit. That's not the whole picture.
Because when I was 12, I was raped. It was a 32-year-old man. I was a little girl.
She says that was the point when reality became too painful. To deal with things, she turned to boyfriends and drugs.
Something happened to me it wasn't supposed to happen. I have a mind now, like I guess a good 23-year-old girl. I don't trust nobody.
This girl decided to skip her turn in the basketball game during afternoon gym time. She says, unlike some of the girls here, she prefers to keep to herself.
They're not going to be there for you if anything happens to you.
She is in the juvenile system after repeatedly running away.
Days, weeks, not changing, not showering.
She says her mother could have made things different. Mom's boyfriend is what she was running from.
He started living in the house. Then he started slowly, getting used to me, grabbing me. One time he kissed me in the mouth.
Did you tell your mom?
I told my mom, but she didn't believe me.
Her eyes filled with tears as she talked about her only parent not protecting her. Her father died years ago. This young lady is already a mother. She knows what she wants for her son.
This isn't the life I want him to remember I had or a life that he's gonna have.
Her little boy is in the care of her family. She admits her parents do much more for the child than she does.
7th grade, I got pregnant. And then I stopped going to school.
She says she ended up in a lifestyle she's ashamed of.
If I worked every day, it could be up to 1,000 daily.
Work doing what?
I don't know.
She simply couldn't find the words to explain. Their days wind down with free time. Socializing is not a requirement, it's a reward. The juveniles are monitored on a point system. Misbehaving got this girl's taken away.
I was looking forward to my phone call. You can get it.
So you lost your points?
Well, I saw them.
Their phone calls come before bedtime.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Talking to their loved ones can make them sad. We watched their compassion come through as teens reached out to comfort one another.
I want to change, and deep inside I know I do.
Changing might be deliberately avoided by some of them. Certain girls find comfort in this kind of confinement.
Some girls do like it because whatever they've been through, they prefer to be here.
Around here, it's common knowledge. Most of the girls who come in keep coming back, either by choice or repeated failure. Far too many of them walk these halls more than once. Children between the ages of 10 and 17 are held at that detention center. Statistics show the average age of the girls there is 15. Only 14% of the juveniles at that detention center were female in 2011. 18% were female in 2010. Oscar, that gives you an idea of just how small the female population is.
Yeah, Stephanie, you really got those girls to open up to you. How were you able to do that?
It all started when I was invited to the detention center as a guest speaker. I met these girls and realized their story should be told. Of course, there were concerns because of how old they are and the subject matter. After a series of meetings, we were finally given permission to shoot the report. Now, these girls formed a relationship with us. They knew we were protecting their identities, and they opened up to us, Oscar.
Yeah, and as we heard from them, their realities are harsh. So what do you know about the backgrounds of these young ladies?
Oscar, a lot of them come from broken homes, poverty. Some of their parents are criminals. The professionals who work one-on-one with these young ladies tell us there's a series of social and economic factors affecting the decisions these children ultimately make.
That was Stephanie Bertini with a Channel 5 News special report, A Dance with Darkness.
Up in smoke, a woman behind the wheel of a car as it burst into flames. Our first look at the video shot overnight.
It was hard. It was hard. I don't even want to think about it. It was hard, but we made it through.
back on solid ground. Some people in the valley breathing a sigh of relief this morning. Details of their dream vacation turned nightmare voyage aboard that ship once stranded at sea. And they're coming for you. Police across the valley working to clear hundreds of warrants. What to do if you made the list, coming up.
And if you happen to open a window or a door like I'm standing in, you'll notice a big change for this morning. A cold front rolled through the valley. I'll tell you what that means for your complete First Warn 5 forecast coming up.
Yeah, Monica, I think you should come inside and track those temperatures. Channel 5 News this morning starts right now.
From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News Saturday morning.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Bertini. Off the top this morning, a woman behind the wheel of a car claims she cruised off a lot moments before the vehicle burst into flames. Shelley Childers live in our newsroom with details on that fire. It happened overnight.
Yeah, Stephanie, it happened.
And you know, Shelley, Leti Garcia wasn't the only one to snap photos of what it was like on that ship. Technology like iPads and our smartphones make it easy for people to capture news as it happens. That's what we saw here.
Definitely.
The CEO of Carnival Cruises apologized to passengers Thursday. Clearly, that apology not enough for some. As Shelley mentioned, at least one woman now suing the company. We confirmed all 4,200 passengers will get a full refund of expenses for the cruise to Cozumel, Mexico. They'll also get a credit for a future cruise and reimbursement for some on-ship expenses, plus $500. And you can count on Channel 5 News to follow this investigation into what happened out at sea. Federal transportation investigators teamed up with the U.S. Coast Guard and the Bahamas Maritime Authority. Bahamian investigators taking the lead because the ship broke down in international waters. The cruise ship, now at a shipyard, is undergoing a damage assessment.
News at 4.
Right now at 4, a boat theft ring busted in Hidalgo County. We'll tell you how police tracked down their suspect.
But you could definitely tell something major was happening.
What did it feel like on the...
A Valley driver describes tense moments. She was on the road in the middle of a police chase. It stretched 8 cities.
Those two stories are only moments, but first, right now, Border Patrol agents raiding a home in Donna. More than 30 undocumented people and their smuggler in custody.
The home located on mile 9 between Hutto and Billman. Our Kirk Chason is there right now. We're going to go to him live. Kirk.
Right, Border Patrol agents.
All right, to Mission now. Several people there are being treated for bee stings. Hidalgo County Sheriff's deputies, Mission firefighters, and EMS all at the scene of an attack at mile 3 in Moorfield Road. First responders are treating people there. The extent of their injuries unknown at this time. We're working to get more details on this. A 29-year-old Alamo man is facing drug smuggling charges. Authorities chased him after he refused to stop for state troopers. Troopers tried to pull Mario Soto Jr. over for speeding near La Jolla. That didn't happen. Troopers, Border Patrol agents, and Hidalgo County constables and a slew of local police raced after him. Driver Katia Hernandez saw the chase along Expressway 83.
Everyone was shifting to the right, making sure they were safe. And I think, you know, there's an excitement, there's a wonder. And so people were maybe not driving under the safest of circumstances because they too were trying to turn around, see what's going on.
Mario Soto Jr. arrested just north of Business 83 in Alamo. Authorities found 474 pounds of pot inside the SUV he was driving. Border Patrol agents still studying the impact of their blimp testing. This video taken last August, what you're looking at is a radar called Aerostat. It was on loan from the Department of Defense. Well, Border Patrol agents raised the aircraft near Roma to help them spot smugglers along the border. The blimp has been used on only a testing basis. Agents plan to wrap up those results at the end of the month.
All right, to LA now, where millions of fake designer purses were confiscated by federal agents.
And officials there calling it a problem that's growing. Here's ABC's Brandy Hitt. After the break, a mother and her 4-year-old killed in a blaze in North Texas. We have those details on the way. Plus, a military parade underway for President Hugo Chavez. We'll take you just a little farther than the valley for that one. And the Cardinals say they won't be talking to the press. We'll tell you why. The latest from the Vatican when Channel 5 News at 4 continues.
Breaking news. Breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Polo Sandoval, Stephanie Bertini, and First Warn 5 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tim Smith. This is Channel 5 News at 4.